Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, a Week 7 preview show. Paul, joined by Jack Weinberger and Robert Ziggy Ziegler, back to the floating head for Ziggy.
This is so sad.
Hey, we had him in person
I miss
2
you
days.
guys.
Yeah. We can't frown because it's gone. We got to smile because it happened.
It was a great run with you here, Ziggy. Some of our best episodes ever, people were saying. But here you are now again in Zoom world.
It's upsetting.
No words from Ziggy. Just
Look, man, I'm too sad about not being there. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say.
We carry on, though. I mean, hey, you know what? People can't see as much now, but Ziggy is dressed to perfection as always. Looks like he's coming right from class. Are you coming right from the class?
Basically, I had to run. My students have an exam on Monday, so I had to run a little study session. I'm going to St. Louis tomorrow for a conference.
Look at this guy.
Go Billigans.
This guy all over the country. It's amazing. Bless you. Bless you.
That's why you're on the Texans, Ziggy. Hugh's son.
Hugh's son.
Yeah.
Are you going to be speaking at this conference?
Yeah, I'm giving a talk.
Can we watch that on YouTube? Is there a live stream, something like that?
I hope not. You don't really want to hear me talk about Francisco Suarez on Final Causation.
Oh, boy.
Tomorrow night.
Well, Jack was actually just talking to me about Francisco Suarez and Final Causation just before we started.
If it was any other night, I would have done it, but I'll be pretty hammered tomorrow night on a Friday.
Yeah. Hey, Jack, what do you think about Suarez's theory of per se influxes?
There's certain things I like, certain things I don't. I'm a mixed bag on that.
That's actually, it's funny you brought that up, Ziggy. That's what Jack was going on about, and he said the exact thing. Some arguments he strongly agrees with, and then there were others that he was just
like
strictly
it's very boomer bust. Like some arguments is like I totally agree, and others it's like really like no way.
A little bit like the power rankings. Some teams boomer
exactly.
bust.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we have a really fun show planned out today. You know, the usual preview show where we have our game picks. We're going to have Ziegler Zag, Jack Cap of the Week. We'll start with the power rankings. Of course, if you're enjoying these videos, we encourage you to like it, leave a comment, subscribe. I've heard from multiple people lately that successful YouTube channels don't really give out the CTAs the way that we are. You know, it's more of a beginner thing to say like, oh, please like, please comment, please subscribe. But we're doing it anyway because we could use all the help that we can get. So if you want to, if you're enjoying these, again, just leave a comment. We see them all and we appreciate. They actually do help us plan out these shows. When people say some really interesting things, we insert them into our plans for the topics. Of course, you can become a member if you want by going to our homepage and selecting join. The leader right now in our pick'em pool, Alex WNS33. Alex has 630 points, and you know who's right behind him, guys, is Paul Farrington of the Paul Farrington Show. 2 games back, 61-30 record. 2 games back of Alex right now.
I think I forgot to do it the last 3 weeks.
Jack's fading.
We put a reminder in every single week.
I've taken myself out of the running.
Zach is right there in 8th place, and Ziggy, I don't know where you are right now, Ziggy, but hopefully you're climbing up.
Near the bottom, I think.
Near the bottom.
You with me?
Of course, you guys can also check out our merch store. The winner of the competition will receive some free merch. But if you want to check out the merch store regardless, you can see it in the bio. And then, of course, if you can't watch on YouTube, you can always listen along on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. So enough of the CTAs here, as the unprofessional YouTubers would do.
Can we say one more thing?
Oh, please, more CTAs.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Could we, as a UVA student instructor, can we just get a round of applause for Tony Bennett retiring? It was his time. He was washed up. We're going to bring in someone new, someone who can actually run things in the NIL era. Thanks for a national championship, winning it right before I got here. You know, I've come to the conclusion, Paul, I'm a basketball jinx, right? Notre Dame makes 2 Elite 8 runs the 2 years before we get there. I show up, they don't make the tournament once. UVA wins a national championship. I get here. They haven't won a single tournament game since I've gotten.
Not only that, but you left Notre Dame, and the year after you left, they went to the tournament and won 2 games before losing to Texas Tech.
That's funny.
So yeah, maybe you are a basketball jinx. But hey, is UVA football? How are they doing?
Well, I'm the opposite of I'm a football anti-jinx. Exactly. Notre Dame is a terrible season. I show up. They've one of the best eras in modern times. UVA is, I think, 4-2 right now, though they still can't fill the stadium.
This is great stuff.
Do you know what UVA's student section is? I know we're sort of off track here, but it's just a muddy hill. And you just stand on the hill and watch the game.
Oh, yeah, I did know that.
They call it the fourth side. Yeah, and we're going to Clemson this weekend, so we're going to get absolutely demolished.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. You're there now, though.
I like Clemson minus 2,000 in that game on the money line.
Minus 2,000. Oh, I think I meant points. Minus 2,000. I saw you making a joke.
No.
Okay, so the power ranking
I think it's 21 and a half, 22 and a half.
The controversial power ranking segment that we have. Last week, we had, starting from number 10 with Jack, had the Buffalo Bills. Ziggy put the Bengals at 9, another controversial selection of the Bengals from Ziggy. I had the Bucs at 8, Jack Broncos at 7, his Denver Broncos, who keep winning. Oh, until this weekend. Yeah. Ziggy had the Packers at 6. I put the Texans at 5. Jack had the Commanders at 4. The Chiefs at 3 for Ziggy. Me, the Ravens at 2. And then Jack had the Minnesota Vikings, our Minnesota Vikings, Ziggy, at number 1 for last week. So, some up and down results there, but I think generally speaking, we've been pretty good. The Detroit Lions, we all know we left the Lions out. We all had the Lions in our top 6, but just the way the rankings fell, we forgot. Okay, shoot us, we forgot. I'm sorry.
I'll say this: I'm going to make a bold prediction. That's not going to happen this week.
I would be shocked if the Lions missed the power.
I'd be floored too if the Lions missed this.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but Jack went first last week. That means that now Ziggy is up first in the power rankings today, I believe.
I believe that's correct.
Ooh la la.
So, Ziggy, why don't you start us off with your number 10 team in the NFL?
This is a tough one for me. There are a lot of teams that I could put here, but I'm going to put a team that's returning to our power rankings after a little bit of an absence. They've been higher, but I think they've earned their spot here. I'm at 10. I'm putting the Los Angeles Chargers.
I thought the Bengals was coming for sure there.
No. I'm not putting in the Bengals. The Chargers, they're coming off a nice win at Denver. They've got a reasonable schedule coming up. Justin Herbert's back. And honestly, I believe in the project. I believe in what I've seen from this team. I believe in Harbaugh's vision. Their 2 losses are an unfortunate loss on the road in Pittsburgh. Could happen to anyone. And losing to the Chiefs at home in a pretty close game. I'm confident this team is going to be trending up. With games against the Cardinals, Saints, Browns, and Titans as their next 4 games, I think they're going to be in everyone's top 10 pretty soon.
I don't mind that selection of the Chargers there. We've had our issues with the Chargers in the past. If you're the top 5, I would have had a problem, but they look good last week. They do have a good record. They're probably going to be there at this point in time. They look like they're a playoff team in the AFC. So I'm okay with it, Ziggy. I like it.
Beat the living crap out of my boys last week.
So they did.
I can't fault that pick.
Okay, so Ziggy with the Chargers at 10. That brings it over to me at number 9. I had a different team at 10, so I'm going to knock out, and at the end we'll reveal our full list. I'm going to knock out my number 10 team, though, and stick to my top 9 now and put the Washington Commanders at 9. I think that this team is a lot of fun, but on top of being a fun team and having Jaden Daniels' story, they are really good. And they went into Baltimore. Baltimore controlled the game, but the Commanders didn't get blown out. They were absolutely in it throughout most of the afternoon. And I think Daniels continues to impress. Like, we're at the point here where Jaden Daniels, it's looking pretty safe to say he's just good. Like, it's not a fluke. He's just very good. And he can make plays with his leg. His arm has been unbelievable. The accuracy numbers are historical for a rookie. Beyond rookies having historical accuracy numbers. So I have the Commanders at 9. You guys okay with that?
Yeah, the Commanders at 8.
Sweet.
So I guess we'll reveal afterwards.
Yeah, I've got them at 8 too. I think that's right where they slot in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fall from 4 to 8 in the last week for me. But
yeah, they have to drop a little bit with the loss, but I don't think like this is not a team that should be out of the top 10.
So my number 10 team also, I don't think deserves to be number 8.
Look at this is mature from us, right?
Yeah. So
this is pretty good stuff.
And my number 8 team was Washington.
Just selected.
So yeah, so I'm gonna continue down my rankings now and put the Atlanta Falcons in at number 8. The last couple of weeks, played a good game against the Chiefs, played a good game against the Bucs. Games they looked good despite losing.
Oh, they beat the Bucs.
Right, sorry. Lost close to the Chiefs, came back and beat the Bucs. Games they looked good.
In a game they probably should have lost.
Yes, but games they looked good back-to-back weeks versus good teams.
Yep.
And now you go on the road, you take care of business against a team who you should take care of business against, beat the crap out of them. 4-2. Cousins is looking good. I got the Falcons at number 8.
The Falcons were my first team out, so I don't hate the ranking. I wouldn't have them in the top 10 because I think every team I have at or above this spot is better than them. But given that I have them at 11, that's not crazy.
Yeah, it's not crazy, but this becomes a little more interesting for me because I did not have them as one of my 8 teams remaining. So someone has to get the boot here. And I know this is where I think that the 8 teams that I have left are all, to me, definitely better than Atlanta. So I'm not sure someone has to drop. So I'm curious where this goes from here. Ziggy's selection now at number 7 plays a pretty big role in how the rest of this is going to go.
I'm going to put a team at 7 that I'm very confident we all have in our top 10 here. I'm putting the Green Bay Packers. They haven't shown enough to me to be higher, and they've got some unfortunate losses on their schedule. Nevertheless, the fact that the Packers have played decent football, they've stayed afloat through a lot of trouble, and that I think the best football is going to start coming pretty soon. They've got a huge game coming up, and this game will determine a lot. They could shoot up or drop down maybe a little bit depending on how this game goes. But until we've seen more, I think this is a nice, safe spot to put them.
I don't mind the Packers here.
I had the Packers even higher, so I have no problem with that.
I had the Packers a little lower, but like there are 3 teams to me. 2 of them will get in, 1 of them will be out between the Packers, Bucs, and the Bills. Like that's what we're looking at right here to keep these rankings realistic. Green Bay is ascending quickly right now. And this weekend will be a huge test against the Texans, who 5-1 team. They haven't always looked as good as we expected this year, but over the past few weeks, we're really starting to see the Houston Texans that we expected. So if Green Bay gets a win there, I think it's a fine selection, Ziggy. They are playing really good football.
If Jordan Love's playing on a neutral field, the Packers are 3-point favorites against the Bucs. No question.
Probably.
Yeah, I'd say Packers are probably favored. Yeah.
So that's why I'm putting them above.
So it's hard to leave the Bucs. It's the Bucs or the Bills here.
I have the Bucs up pretty high.
It's the Bucs or the Bills here, and the Bills. Hold on, let me think about this through my head. I do have one team higher.
Please don't. Please
so we're
don't.
at 6. We're at 6 right now, right? 6, 5.
All right.
4.
I'm going to put Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills here at 6. I really like Tampa, and I think that Tampa Bay is having a great season. Baker's leading the league in touchdowns. He looks awesome. But if it's Josh Allen or Baker, I'm going Josh Allen's team here. And the Bills haven't, their losses are who? To the Ravens, and who was the other loss? It was at Baltimore.
Atlanta. No, that was the Bucs.
No, it was at Baltimore and then Houston.
At Houston, yeah.
The past couple
Houston
weeks.
was close.
So, these are 2 AFC juggernauts that they lost to. They had a shot to beat Houston there at the end. I'm going to go with Buffalo here at 6, and I feel pretty good about that.
So hold on. We now have 5. Ziggy's 4. You're 3. I'm 2. Ziggy's 1.
Yeah. It's laid out for us here. I think we've done a really nice job of navigating.
We just have to bring it home.
We've really done a nice job of navigating this.
Is this the sanest start to our power rankings of all time?
Yeah, but every single I think last week we even had the past couple of weeks we've been sane at the beginning, and then at the end there's some chaos.
Wait a minute. This is going to line up perfectly.
It should.
With 5 teams left.
Well, let's see.
Unless I missed somebody.
Well, we've done a good job of eliminating. We've done a good job.
At number 5, we have the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jack. It's you at 5. Don't be shocked.
I think that I'm missing somebody.
I don't think you are.
Jack, just trust your heart.
5, I was going to go with the Bucs. Who am I missing?
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got the Bucs at 5.
Well, hold on.
No. We don't reason this out in real time. If you're putting the Bucs at 5,
Yeah,
the Bucs are at 5.
number 5.
What are you forgetting?
The Bucs are number 5 team right here.
Okay.
How is this happening? Don't you have the list?
Yeah, it's right here. The Bucs are number 5.
Who else do you possibly have on this list?
Packers at 6, Bills 7.
No. Let's just go through this. I want to know what team Jack thinks doesn't belong.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm missing. I have Tampa at 5.
Okay,
should we read Jack's top 10 just to understand where he messed up right now?
No. I want
to
leave this in suspense.
Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
Oh, I realize. I realize.
I'm okay with Jack correcting if he left someone.
I realized because they had a bye week and I forgot they didn't play.
I'm okay with Jack correcting this if he's forgetting.
Okay, you can correct.
Okay, so I forgot the Chiefs existed because they were off.
Okay.
So 5, I'll put the Chiefs and I'll knock the Bucs out.
You're the Chiefs at 5?
Yeah, I think there's 4 teams better than the Chiefs.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Explain it.
No, they've been carried by the defense, but I'm not leaving an undefeated team with Mahomes off the board. And I just simply forgot about them because they had a bye week. So that's why I had the Bucs in at 5. But I think there's 4 teams better than Kansas City, but they're my number 5 team.
All right. So I think that was good of us to, Jack's forgetting the Chiefs. Like,
to be fair, I did not expect him to forget that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs exist.
Yeah, my number 1 team.
I totally forgot.
All right. So Ziggy, go ahead. 4.
So that's at 5. Number 4, I'm putting the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, they're undefeated. Yes, they've looked pretty good.
You guys are a joke. This is a joke from the two of you right now.
The Vikings got passed on my last two.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
No, what are you mad about with the Vikings at 4? Look, at a certain point, I want to see a little bit more from them. I'll be honest, the offense spooked me a little bit against the Jets. It's just true. They have a chance to climb to number 1 this week. But I think the 3 teams that are ahead of them will be favored on a neutral field because I believe in them a little bit more. Again, right, like Aaron Jones is potentially injured. It's not clear he's going to play this week. I think that's a huge loss for the Vikings. I think they're a very good team, and putting them at number 4 shows a lot of faith. I'm just not convinced that the offense is as good as it's looked the first 5 weeks.
They were passed in my ranking too.
We're passing on them because they had to buy.
I'm punishing them because of the bye, yeah.
And that's not true.
That's what Jack's doing.
It's true for me. They looked mediocre offensively against the Jets, like you said, and had a bye week, and I thought 2 teams had 2 very good wins.
They were dominating the Jets, and then Aaron Jones I understand Aaron Jones is likely not to play at this point in time.
I mean, the Jets had the ball on midfield, chance to win the game.
They were up 17-0. They were dominating the Jets. And the Jets didn't win the game.
And you blew it.
No, we didn't. We won the game.
And then 2 good teams picked up 2 good wins this week while you had on a bye. I think it's totally valid to pass you in the ranking.
The Texans should be ahead of us?
I think the Ravens... I'll reach my rankings later.
All right.
The Ravens and the Lions ahead.
I don't understand how the Chiefs and the Vikings, both 2 5-0 teams who have beaten a lot of good teams.
It's not record rankings. The Lions looked amazing this week. So did the Ravens.
All right. So then,
I mean, you're making it sound like 4 is some massive act of disrespect.
Yeah, it is disrespectful.
No, it's not.
It's disrespectful to the 2 teams that have not lost.
You're punished for a bye.
All right. So 3
you're punished for not being the best team in the league.
3 then I'm going to put the Houston Texans, who we all saw what the Vikings did to the Texans. I don't know how we can put them in.
That was in Minnesota.
I think Houston's really good. I was talking before. Nico Collins is out right now. He's still leading the league in receiving yards, which is super impressive, given that he missed basically a full game here. But with him out, they look good against New England. When he gets back, they're going to be even more dangerous. Stroud continues to show that he is one of the best, I think, a top 5 quarterback in the league. This week, while the Vikings have an opportunity to prove something against the Lions, the Texans have a great opportunity to prove something against the Packers. They've already beat Buffalo. This is a chance to pick up another really good win. This would be their best win of the season on the road against a very tough Green Bay team. So Texans at 3 with the potential to really cement a top 5 in the NFL status.
Yeah, I had Houston at 4. And I feel like this past week, they did what I've finally been waiting for, and that's explode offensively. What did they score? 41 points.
41, yeah.
Like they kind of look like they're coming together. Like they're getting close to what they can do. They're 5-1. I think that's a perfect spot. I got them at number 4.
All right, so Jack, you guys can round it out. Oh, sorry, Ziggy.
I was going to say, I think the Vikings have played better football than the Texans up until this point, but CJ Stroud is doing a lot of lifting, and like you guys said, we sort of finally saw it all come together. Now that they're healthy, I think I'd favor them against the Vikings on a neutral field.
Stop it. We watched them play, and the Vikings won by 30 points.
I mean,
yeah, that was a bad game.
If they play next week in Houston, I'm picking Houston.
It doesn't matter, though. Like if they played on a neutral field, who are you picking?
Yeah, Houston.
We watched the game. It wasn't close.
I think Minnesota played a very good game at home against the Texans.
The Vikings won. The Vikings played as good a game as they've played.
They played a great game at home.
As bad a game.
There's a reason the Texans played bad. It's because the Vikings dominated them on defense.
I mean, the Raiders beat the Ravens. Like, things happen.
But there's a difference. The Raiders beat the Ravens with a fluky 4th quarter comeback. The Vikings dominated Houston from the 1st quarter to the 4th.
I think you had a great game that week. If you play next week in Houston, I don't think you win.
I think it's insane.
Judging this based off one head-to-head game is not...
One head-to-head dominant victory. Yeah, I think the Vikings deserve... Until the Texans show me that they can go and beat... Who did the Texans beat? They beat Buffalo. Who else have they beat?
Hold on. When they're hanging 40 points and you have a bye week,
We hung 40 on them.
No, we didn't.
What do we hang?
34.
Okay.
You didn't hang 40. There's a difference.
Okay. All right. So
This is
who do you have it to?
This is like we can go head to head all day. Like, who have the Panthers beat? We're probably a team that they're worse than, right?
The Panthers have one win. Yes.
Who was it against?
Carolina beat the Raiders, who are horrible.
But like, there's teams out there who win games. Doesn't mean they're
You
better
can
than
do
them.
head to head,
Like,
but the Vikings. I'm sorry, the Vikings are not.
You had a great game week 2 against the Texans. You
No,
did.
but
Like,
the
I gave you
Vikings.
flowers. We gave you flowers.
It's not like the Vikings are 2-4 with an outlier win against the Texans. They're 5-0, beating the 49ers, the Texans, and the Packers in Green Bay.
Yeah, but your last game play looked worse than you did before.
We beat the Jets.
The Jets, they stink.
We beat the Jets in London.
What are the Jets? 1-5. You barely beat them.
2-4.
No, look. If you think that the Vikings will
Minnesota's
continue
number-
to play
my
this
number-
level, you should have them higher. But
Yeah,
I'm more confident that Houston is going to continue to be good than the Vikings,
Sure.
just because we've seen more from CJ Stroud.
Minnesota's in my top 5.
Sure,
I'm not.
we're projecting the Texans to be better.
I'm
The
not-
power
That's
rankings for
how
week
power
7.
rankings work.
No, the
power
power
rankings
rankings
are
are-
about projections.
Yes, and we gave power rankings when the Vikings beat the Texans. We gave the Vikings higher than the Texans.
It can't just be projections. It has to be projections with a hint of the past.
This is now 4 weeks later, so you can't go with the Vikings Texans head to
And the
head.
Vikings haven't
The
lost.
past is that CJ Stroud's better than Sam Darnold. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
And you've looked worse
mad.
the last game you played than you did against the Texans.
All right. Go ahead, Jack. You have number 2.
Number 2, it's a toss-up. I mean, there's 2 teams here left. It's obvious, but number 2, I'm going Baltimore. And I hate putting them here. Also, another team who had a great win while the Vikings were sitting in their couch this weekend, so they deserve to be higher than the Vikings.
We can't do anything about the bye week. I mean, it's the bye week.
Whose fault is that? It's your fault.
It's a schedule. Every team has a bye week.
So Baltimore's beating the Commanders, and you're doing nothing. I'm putting Baltimore at number 2.
Baltimore lost to the Raiders. I mean, we could go with. We could do these head to head.
Yeah. So you're just countering yourself.
No, I'm saying. All right, go ahead.
We can't keep having this
You're just countering yourself. Like, that's my point. We can go head to head all day with random weeks. So Baltimore number 2. I think it's the best quarterback running back combo in the history of the NFL, and Derrick Henry and Lamar. And I hate to admit that. Offense looks fantastic. Picked up a great win against Sweat at number 4 last week in Washington. I think this is very deserving for Baltimore to be number 2.
Yeah, I think they're playing awesome. I have them in my top 3 as well. Derrick Henry's just been so damn good, and we said it every week, but it's really fun to watch him and Lamar. I'm excited to see them this week with Tampa Bay.
Undefeated, scoring more than 23 points.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see them against Tampa Bay. That's
a stupid comment. I feel like most teams probably are.
I don't think so. I mean, like the Bengals have had
You're right.
They played very well.
You're right.
Okay, so Ziggy, this is open to you to have the Bengals at 1.
I really thought about putting the Bengals at 1. I mean, they do have one of the best offenses in the NFL.
And they had a big win this past week.
Yeah, no, a huge win, a must win. I thought about putting the Jets. They brought in Devontae Adams. I think he could really change things. They fired that head coach.
Nick Chubb is back.
I mean, there's one team Nick Chubb. you could think about maybe he can play quarterback. No, there's only one team I think you can justify putting number 1 at this point. They got off to a slow start. Close game into unfortunate home loss into close game on the road. But then they go out and they absolutely maul the Seahawks at home. Then they go to Dallas. And I don't care if you think the Dallas Cowboys are as bad as the Carolina Panthers. They're not. But that kind of a win is a statement. I don't see how you don't put the Detroit Lions at number 1 after what we've seen after the past few weeks. The offense is finally clicking. I know Aiden Hutchinson is hurt. I know that will have an impact, but I don't think that's going to completely derail this team. The Lions have looked like one of the best teams in football. They've looked like the best team in football the past couple of weeks.
No, they haven't.
And
their offense has looked like the best offense in football.
The Lions are amazing.
Yeah, and given the fact that they're 1.5 point dogs going into Minnesota, I think they'd be favored against anyone in the NFL. I'm taking the Lions on a neutral field.
I had the Lions at 1 too.
I think Detroit. I had Detroit very high as well. It was not intentional for them to be left out of our power rankings last week. Their offense is unbelievable, and it all starts with the guys up front and the run game. To me, as good as Jared Goff has been, he had the perfect pass. He had the perfect completion percentage game. But Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery lay down the foundation, running behind just an absolute unit of an offensive line, and then Jared Goff gets to pick up the pieces from there and slice teams apart with his arm. So their offense is terrifying to me. Our friend Tom Monroe is a big Lions fan. He sent a graphic earlier this week to me that had the Lions atop the charts in offense and defense. It was a bunch of different metrics they had together, but the Lions were, if you were to look at the graph, it was like in the upper right would be the best for defense and the best for offense, and the Lions were up there. So I think the Lions defense has been playing better. They got slaughtered by Seattle. I mean, Seattle went up and down the field on them the entire game. They did. What are you furrowing your eyebrows here for, Ziggy? Seattle moved up and down the field all day on them.
You said the Lions, yeah, but they won the game by a lot.
Didn't the Lions slaughter the Seahawks?
The Seahawks moved the ball up and down the field the entire game. The Seahawks moved up and down on the Lions.
I'm not buying.
And now without Aiden, I think Detroit deserves to be in the top 5. I'm not putting him at 1 right now because I think Aiden Hutchinson's a huge loss. And this week's the opportunity for all these teams to kind of prove it. The Ravens and the Bucs, the Vikings, the Lions, the Packers, the Texans. We have a lot of top 10, top 12 matchups in the league. But I disagree with us putting the Lions at 1. But I think it's an understandable. There are 4 teams that you can understandably put at 1.
I think whoever wins this week, I'll probably have it number 1 between the Lions and the Vikings.
Or Lions, Vikings. So here's what we had: the Chargers at 10, the Commanders at 9, Falcons 8, Packers 7, Bills 6, Chiefs 5, Vikings 4, Texans 3, Ravens 2, Lions 1. I think this is objectively our best power rankings ever.
That's our best list. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's no fun. Like we'll get like no like.
I'm pretty upset with the way the top 5 worked out.
We'll get like no like funny comments, for the Broncos or the Bengals. But this is probably
people saying like, I'm not going to listen to the show anymore because you've lost all credibility.
This is probably our most accurate.
So list. So let's do our individual list and we'll move on to Zig or Zag. Jack, what was your top 10 to 1?
Well, so I forgot the Chiefs. So I'm going to read it like with the Chiefs in it now.
Yeah, 10 to 1.
So I'll go 1 to 10. It's just easier.
Okay.
Because I have to like readjust things now.
Sure.
So 1 was the Lions. 2 was the Ravens. I had the Vikings at 3. The Texans at 4. I had the Bucs at 5. I forgot about the Chiefs. So I'm putting the Chiefs in at 5. Then the Bucs are 6. Packers are 7. Bills are 8. Falcons are 9. Commanders are 10. And then outside looking in is Pittsburgh, the Chargers, and San Francisco.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I see. Okay. I think you're a little low on the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs should be in that top 3.
They've looked okay.
How about you, Ziggy? You're top 10.
We're counting down from 1 to 10. 1 to 10.
Yeah, we'll just stick with it. That's what Jack had.
Yeah. 1, I've got the Lions. 2, Chiefs. 3, Ravens. 4, Texans. 5, Vikings. 6, Bills. 7, Packers. 8, 49ers. 9, Commanders. 10, Chargers.
Okay, so who did you have out there? You had no Falcons, did you say?
No Falcons, no Bucs.
No Falcons, no Bucs. Okay. I think that's I can't understand.
No Bucs.
This Vikings Texans, whatever. We've had the conversation.
You're worse than the Texans.
All right, for me, I had 1, the Chiefs. And again, until they lose, I'm not moving them. 2, the Vikings. I'm not moving them until they lose. The Ravens at 3, the Lions at 4, Houston at 5. So that's the top 5 right there. Buffalo at 6, the Bucs at 7, the Packers at 8, Commanders 9, Falcons 10. And then I had the 49ers on the outside looking in at 11. So there
I
you
just
go.
don't know how the Lions can't be 1. That's the best team in football. Goff's the best quarterback in the league. I think they're impossible to stop.
Their offense is amazing. Yeah, I mean, they're a very, very, very good football team. But I have a lot of questions after the Hutchinson injury. I do, and I think that's fair.
Well, they'll be answered when they steamroll the Vikings this week on the road.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they will be. Okay, so let's move on to Zig or Zag here. Ziggy, you were 3-0 last week?
I was 1 and 2.
No, he missed Schultz by like half a yard.
Schultz.
I missed Schultz by half a yard, and I missed Caleb Williams by 5 yards on the overpassing.
Yep. My bad.
I feel bad that like Caleb Williams had an incredible game, but he just barely missed that. So this is a good reminder that you probably shouldn't be gambling on sports, and if you are, you certainly shouldn't be gambling on sports based on what I say. But if you hit Packers minus 5.5, you probably felt pretty good.
So Ziggy, even in a really good game, the man still finds a way to let you down. That's the story of Caleb Williams.
I know how you feel now, Jack. I know how you feel.
That's Caleb Williams to a T.
Let's hear it, Ziggy. This week's Zig or Zag.
Yeah, so I usually like to open with a pick against the spread. So I'm going to open with another pick against the spread. The Carolina Panthers are heading to play the Washington Commanders this week. And, I've learned some things from Jack. And one thing I've learned from Jack is that when a team suffers a tough loss on the road, they get mad, and you do not want to be going into their building. I don't care if the Commanders are 8-point favorites. That any number you could give me feels too low for what I think they're going to do to this Carolina team. Give me the Commanders -8.
Yeah, I'm going to take that. I mean, anything under double digits in that game, I think they're going to roll them. Baltimore was a winnable game. They showed they can probably compete with Baltimore and teams like that. They will come home and crap in the mouth of Carolina. So I'm going to zig that.
I'm going to zig as well. I think 10 is around the right number. They'll win this game by about 10 points, in my opinion. So I'm with you. I think this is a...
This could be like 34-9.
This is a really good Commanders team. I don't want to say a great Commanders team, but they're a very good Commanders offense. And the defense, when the defense shows up, they're tough to beat. So I've got Washington with you, Ziggy. All right.
Can I beat
Two
you later?
zigs.
Can I beat you later, Paul?
Oh.
All right. Next.
All right.
We're this time we're taking a look at the Lions-Minnesota game. A lot of different things you could look at here. But here's something I think. I think that this Vikings pass defense is going to be ferocious. I think they're going to get after Jared Goff quite a bit. And what that means is that it's going to be tough to wait for those long developing plays. You're going to be relying on guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, like Sam Laporta. But one guy I think who's not going to be able to get going is Jameson Williams. I know it only takes one big play for him to break this, but I think our defense is going to do a good job limiting the huge plays. Jameson Williams, I'm taking under 48.5 receiving yards. I know it would just take one play, but if he doesn't get that one monster play, there's no way he's hitting that number.
Well, I do think Minnesota wins the game.
Okay. Go ahead.
What?
You think Minnesota wins the game and will be number one in your power rankings this week? But
me thinking the Lions are better than the Vikings doesn't have anything to do with me thinking you'll win this week.
Okay.
I think
they're playing each other.
I think Alabama's better than Vanderbilt. I think there's a difference in like the certain spot versus who's better.
Okay. All right.
You say okay, all right, but I think
generally speaking, better teams win the football games.
I don't think that's necessarily true, but okay. I think the Vikings do win the game, and they'll probably shoot back up to number one in my ranking. But
Jack, what are you talking about?
I mean,
Okay, now I'm just confused.
Well,
I was right.
I'm gonna have to probably zag it because I'm just scared of that one play, like a 50-yard touchdown, and probably in what should be a high-scoring game.
So he's had 5 games this year. He's had 121, 79, 9, 80, and 76. He's been over your number in 4 games. However, the last 2 weeks, he's had 2 catches for 80 yards and 3 for 76. So there's your big play.
Sure, he doesn't get that bomb, yeah. But I'm just...
And he hasn't faced a defense as good as the Vikings defense. And indeed, our defense will get after Jared Goff. I really think.
I'm going to zig with you, Ziggy. And you're going to zag him? Okay.
I'm probably going to zig just because I'm scared of that one big play.
All right.
And like what should be a game
48.5
with points.
48.5.
Okay. All right. How about the last one?
I don't hate it.
Last one. This is going to the New York Jets are playing at Jack's Pittsburgh Steelers. And, the New York Jets, they're in a time of big turmoil right now. A lot's going on. But a lot's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers, too. They're bringing in, it looks like Russell Wilson's going to start for the first time. And there's a line here that I think is just crazy. You can get just about even odds on over 2.5 total turnovers between both teams in this game. You're telling me that Aaron Rodgers ain't throwing a little bit of an interception against TJ Watt in that ferocious defense? You're telling me there's not going to be a strip sack? You're telling me that Russell Wilson is going to take care of the ball? Really? That Russell Wilson? No, over 2.5 total turnovers in this game. The Steelers might have 3 on their own. The Jets might have 3 on their own. You combine it, I think this is going to be a messy, messy game.
I'm going to zig because I do believe that Pittsburgh turns the Jets over 3 times. I believe Aaron Rodgers struggles and we beat him.
I think there are 2 turnovers. I'm going to zag on this one. 3's a lot of turnovers. I understand that the Steelers can get after.
You're going 1 each?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 1 each. I think that like this does feel like a game that will have some turnovers in it. It'll
You
be
just
a little
don't want to
sloppy.
zig all three.
No, I just don't. 3 turnovers is a lot to ask for in a football game.
That's 3 Watt strip sacks.
I no. TJ Watt could do it by himself, but I'm gonna go with the under here. I'm gonna zag. You're zigging. If Russell Wilson is basically confirmed starting, right? I mean, he hasn't been confirmed, but it's all.
I mean, Justin Fields came out and said, "I'm not good enough to keep the starting job."
And this was after winning by 20 points.
I don't know how I feel about. I kind of like Fields.
They're 4-2, right?
I don't think Russell Wilson's going to improve the offense, honestly.
No, me neither. But we're 4-2, and we're a 4th and goal stop away from being 5-1.
Yeah. It's a.
Well,
Wilson was supposed to start this season.
yeah, but I think Fields is probably better.
Justin Fields has played the best football of his career.
He has. I mean,
Yeah, I think Fields is probably better than Russ, but I guess we'll see.
well, there have been times though where this offense has been just putrid. There have been times, and I understand that Russell Wilson was the vision of he was supposed to be the starter this year. He was the guy that they were expecting to build around the offense for this season. Again, not anything going forward. But it is a bizarre move after winning by 20 points. You're 4-2. It just feels like the wheels haven't fallen off, you know?
But also, what does Russ bring?
A better arm.
Do you think it's that much better?
I think it's better passer.
Is he that much better passer than Fields, where Fields' legs doesn't outweigh that?
No,
Like,
there's an argument. I 100% understand
there's
where
been
you're coming
numerous
from.
times where I've seen Fields scramble and get out of 3rd and 8s.
They're hoping for the Russell Wilson that last year had the Broncos looking like a potential wild card team. If you get that Russell Wilson, he's probably better than Justin Fields.
I don't love the move.
Well, I completely get where you're coming from. 4-2 is a weird spot to make a move, but you know what? It was a weird move.
But the funny thing is that probably doesn't matter. This team's going to go exactly as far as their defense takes them. You can put in Jack at quarterback and they'd win about the same number of games.
Honestly, if this weekend, Steelers, Jets, if it was me, Russ, or Fields, the game will probably pan out like how it'll pan out regardless.
You bring up a good point, though, Jack, in that Russell Wilson's arm needs to outweigh Justin Fields so much so that it eliminates the rushing.
Yeah, I don't think it does that.
Fields had, 2 touchdowns, 59 yards last week on the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if... I guess I'll see. I don't know how much...
That's the approach Tomlin's taking. Say, if Wilson can throw, and I actually don't think it's horrible to just throw Russ out there and say... Because the offense is stagnant a lot. And if Russ comes out and plays well, it's like, oh, good. All right, this is great. And if he sucks... and you lose this week,
then we know
throw Fields back.
You know what
I mean?
Yeah.
Or give Russ 2 weeks and see. And the worst case scenario, you're 4-4 in a wide open AFC, and you go back to Fields.
If we lose back-to-back home Sunday night football games, I might abandon the team for the year.
What it can't turn into is the kind of thing where you're like, over the next 5 weeks, you're bouncing back and forth. If you see Wilson and he's bad for the next 2 weeks, you go back to Fields like that. To me, that's it.
Yeah.
Once you get into this 2 quarterback thing, it's a mess.
Oh, if you have 2 QBs, you have none.
Yeah.
The thing I hate about shaking the boat here is just these 2 games are absolute must wins. Because these will be, they host the Jets and they host the Giants. Then they have to play at Washington, host the Ravens, at Cleveland, at Cincinnati, host the Browns, at Philadelphia, at Baltimore, host the Chiefs, host the Bengals. That is a brutal second half stretch. And if they lose these 2 games and go 4-4, are you really going to win 6 or 7 of those games? What you need to have a chance at the division? Because the division is in play here. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree totally. I think both at home against the Jets and Giants, you got to win.
You're trying to find the spark, though. The reason I get that it's weird, but the reason I'm okay with making this move is you got to find a spark. Like the offense has times where they can just lose a game. If you're not playing the Raiders last week, you're probably...
we played well last week. We scored 32 points. That's like 100 for most teams.
You did. The Raiders are horrible. I mean, you just see what the Lions did to the Cowboys, and your offense couldn't do anything. They had no Micah. They had no DeMarcus Lawrence.
Oh yeah, well the Lions are elite.
No, I'm just saying like your offense was horrible against a second string Cowboys.
Yes.
Team. So I get where they're coming from. All right, let's get into game picks here. Before the cap of the week, we'll wrap it up. We're not going to do the Thursday night game because we're recording on Thursday. The game will be over between the Broncos and the Saints. So we'll start off.
But the Broncos won.
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll win.
Who are the Broncos versus Saints?
Yeah. This game will be over again by the time people are listening to this.
Yeah, I think the Broncos, my boys, bounce back.
You can only look like a fool by picking this game. So I'm picking the Broncos. Rashid Shaheed's out.
Chris Olave's hurt. No
Yeah.
Derek Carr still. Yeah.
Let's
The
just
Broncos
pick the
should
game.
win.
I'm taking the Broncos.
All right, I got the Broncos.
All right, baby, let's go.
The Patriots and the Jaguars in London. Jacksonville's a 5.5 point favorite.
Oh gosh, I'm probably gonna go with Jacksonville.
Do you know?
Flip a coin.
Here's how bad a team you have to be 5.5 point favorites facing Jacksonville at a neutral site, or 5.5 point dogs. Yeah, no, I'm taking the Jags, but ugh.
The Jags have shown some competitiveness, right?
They just got blown out by the Bears.
Wait, they hung with the Dolphins. Who else
In
did they?
week 1.
Did they play with anybody else?
Texans.
Outside of week 1, the Patriots have looked horrible. And I get that Drake May wasn't as bad as the stats looked, but yuck.
The Jaguars are going to win this football game, and they've been so dysfunctional. I want to believe in the Jaguars still having a chance to get to the playoffs because the AFC is so bad, but they're just a dumpster fire. But they'll win this game. The Titans at
Wait, is
the
this
Bills.
2 weeks in a row for the Jags in London?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
probably-
stayed in London, so it's a home game.
Oh, so they just stayed there. That's so much easier.
The
Yeah,
Titans
Jags.
at the Bills. Buffalo 8.5 point favorites.
Bills.
Snooze fest Bills. All right, we're all on the Bills here. Texans at Packers. Green Bay 2.5 point favorites in the Farrington Bowl.
Well, I want to tail Ziggy's cap so bad, but I'm probably going to take Green Bay just because they're playing at home.
I mean, I had the vision. Hugh's son.
I know you
Give me the
did.
Texans.
If you haven't checked it out, we have about a 17-minute Packer-Texan prediction show. And I also have the Packers winning this one. I feel confident if I were picking maybe 2 or 3 of my best picks of the week, I think Green Bay will win this one. It feels like a Green Bay spot to me. I think they're playing really good football at home.
Yeah,
It's a good spot for them. The Dolphins at the Colts. Colts are 3-point favorites. Anthony Richardson returning for Indianapolis.
I don't like the fact he's returning, but it's going to take a lot for me to bet on this Dolphins team, so I'll take the Colts.
Yeah, Tua will not be back. So I'm taking the Colts until he's back. I'm taking any team they play until he's back.
Yeah, no Tua is just big problems for Miami. So I got the Colts as well. It's a big game for Anthony Richardson. I know he's returning from injury, but he's looked really shaky when he was healthy this year. And you know what I got to start seeing is take care of yourself. Like, how many injuries now has this been for? It's been a lot
He's
of
left
injuries.
half of his career starts early with injury.
Yeah, like he's got to get down, and even in the last game he got injured. You're saying, Anthony, slide, please. So I have the Colts winning, but I want to see how he starts taking care of himself. It has to happen. The Seahawks at the Falcons. Atlanta a 3-point favorite. This is a kind of a fun one here between
Yes.
two like middle tier.
It's the birds
NFC
and the birds.
contenders.
It's the birds and the birds. It's the East Coast birds and the West Coast birds.
Yes.
I just put Atlanta at number 8 in my power rankings this week. They're playing at home. I like the captain, so I'm going to go with the Falcons. I know it's 10 days rest for Seattle off a loss, but I go with Atlanta.
Give me the Birds.
Yep, I agree.
The Dirty Birds.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons.
Against Seattle, I've said all year they're exactly who I expected them to be. This is a team that'll give most teams a tough contest. There, I said contest again. A tough game every week. Gino is playing good football, but he makes big mistakes and big moments. Kirk Cousins has been awesome when it matters. This will be a close game. I could even see it coming down to Younghoe Koo hitting another game winner. I got the Falcons. The Lions go to Minnesota. The Vikings 1.5 point favorites. Yeah, but despite being behind them in the power rankings, it sounds like you're going to pick the Vikings to win.
The number 1 team in my power rankings goes on the road this week, and I think they lose. I think the Vikings win.
It's like college football.
Yes, and then I'll vault them back up. Then when you two meet later, they kill you. So I'll go with the Vikings at home.
I've been thinking about this all day.
So show me your mane, baby.
It's like, why stop the train?
Show me that mane. Stop the train and show me your mane.
I've been on the train. You know I've been on the train. I was pounding the train against Houston. I was pounding the train against Green Bay. But every train's got to stop somewhere. This team's not going 17-0. And I think if anyone's going to knock us off, it's this Detroit team. So the Vikings, though, they specialize in heartbreak. And this would not be the most heartbreaking place to lose. So I think the Vikings are going to win this game, if only to hurt us more later.
Then they'll lose like someone crappy down the road.
That's the thing that you're forgetting, or most people are forgetting, that Ziggy has pointed out here, is that this is the game that will convince Vikings fans. And we've said every week, beat Houston, you're convinced. Beat the Packers, you're convinced. Beat San Francisco, you're convinced. This is the one that when they beat Detroit, everyone's going to say, wow, they've done everything in the NFC that they can right now. They're 6-0, 2-game lead on the 1 seed. Like, this is the year.
Yeah.
And that is the moment it'll fall apart. But it won't this year, because now we're all on to that. It'll fall apart in the playoffs when we truly believe, when we're 14-3 hosting San Francisco. That'll be it.
In the 1 versus 5.
And I'm the one who sees that. The rest of the Vikings fans might not see that yet. So I got the Vikings winning too. I think this Aiden Hutchinson injury is really, really big. It changes so much for Detroit and how you block everyone. It just makes life so much easier playing against them. Not to say the Lions have a bad defense. Tom Monroe is going to be mad about this. Not to say the Lions have a bad defense. He's just that good that to get after Sam Darnold becomes much more challenging.
So Steelers have a great defense, but you take TJ Watt off of it.
It changes things. So I had the Vikings winning.
That even more so than the Lions.
Going to Detroit will be very tough at the end of the year. Okay, I acknowledge that. This is going to be a tough
You
game.
win now and you lose then.
Yeah, so I got the Vikings winning here in a good game. The Bengals at the Browns. Cincinnati is a 5.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I will never pick the Browns again, so I'm taking the Bengals.
If they bench Deshaun Watson, I might play them, but until then, I'm taking the Broncos.
Right,
I'm taking the Bengals.
Same. That's what I meant.
Another game for Cincinnati where their back is against the wall. They really haven't. They haven't been that impressive. Most of their games they've been in it, but I still haven't seen that game from the defense where I'm like, all right, here they are. So I got the Bengals winning a close one, or not close. I think the Bengals win this game.
The Browns just traded Amari Cooper. The offense will be worse.
No. I think the Bengals are going to win this game by more than 5.5 too. I take them with the points. When giving the points, could be a spot for the Browns where it's like when they traded Trent Richardson and went into Minnesota and beat the Vikings with.
I remember that.
That was horrible. I was at that game. My first game.
I remember
in Minnesota.
that.
Well, no, I got Cincinnati. The Eagles at the Giants. Philadelphia, only a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm tempted to take the G-men here.
I mean, don't.
It just feels like I should take the Giants. I don't like the Eagles. They're on the wrong side of my state.
We see this all the time, Jack. We've seen this. We see this game every year.
And the Eagles just
same
beat the
thing
crap out of them, right?
Unless the Eagles are resting their starters, we know what the score is going to be.
Yeah, no, it does happen every year. But there's a first for everything. So I'm going to go with the Giants in MetLife. I'm going to go with the Giants.
Okay. All right.
I don't think there's a team that people are more wrong about than the Giants. I think people think this Giants team is one of the 3 or 4 worst teams in the NFL, and they're just not. They're right near average. On a neutral site, I think this Eagles team should only be 2.5 or 3-point favorites. So you're going into MetLife, you're facing the Giants. The Giants have a little bit of momentum going.
Hell yeah!
I'll pick them to win the game. I'm with you, Jack. I'm right.
Yeah. G-men rise up. What's so good about Philly? They stink.
I agree that the Giants are underrated in most people's eyes. They're 2-4, but they've played good football a lot of times, and they've actually had some games that they could easily be a 3-3, even 4-2 team if a few bounces go differently. But no, I think this is easy. This is easy. Eagles -3. It might be close at the end. There might be a chance for the Giants. The Giants might score and have a chance to stop Philly and get the ball back, and the Eagles will run 6 minutes off the clock and win the game. So, that is what is going to happen. You can
Dexter Lawrence is going to win this game.
I'm almost there to give the Paul Farrington guarantee that the Eagles will win this game.
I'm just thinking a big neighbor's touchdown late to take the lead.
Yeah, we'll see. The Raiders at the Rams. Rams are 6.5-point favorites.
The Rams. Not much else to say. The Raiders are terrible.
Yeah, Rams.
Rams. Yep. After Devontae's Devontae's gone.
You know what they say.
What do they say?
Ram it in.
If you ram it just right, you can ram it all day. You can ram it all night.
Hey, look at my shirt.
Oh.
He knew. He knew. I'm not paying against the Jack shirt.
All right, so we were all on the Commanders -8.5 against the Panthers with Zig or Zag. All right, here's a great one. The Chiefs at the 49ers. San Francisco's a 1.5-point favorite.
Oh, the Chiefs are a dog. I mean,
San Francisco's 3-3 too.
I know.
This is a big game.
I just can't. I hate picking road teams in games like this. I'm gonna take San Francisco. Super Bowl revenge games. I'm gonna take San Francisco.
Steve Spagnuolo said about Brock Purdy in an interview today, I can't find a weakness on this team and on this quarterback. Every time I put the film on, he looks better and better, and I'm more and more impressed. that means he has absolutely found a weakness. You don't go out and say something like that unless you know what you're doing. So I think he's going to exploit it. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in a very close game.
I love that analysis, Ziggy, and I think the Chiefs are going to win this football game too. San Francisco, something's just been a little off, and I do think that they got back to who they are a bit against Seattle on that Thursday night game. And what better way to spark the 49ers than putting them in Seattle on a Thursday night? I mean, that's a gift from the NFL scheduling gods right there. But I just think Kansas City, the defense has been so good now for a year and a half, and Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. So it just feels like the Chiefs kind of have that in this matchup.
So I get to lone wolf the Niners at home.
Yeah.
This is
a great game. I mean, this is awesome.
The Niners should be 5-1.
We saw San Francisco last year too, what they did. Remember the tough part of their schedule? They have Dallas at home and they have at Philly, and they just murdered them. And that was kind of like the 49ers are not just good, but really, really good. Like, they have a chance here to do something like that. But McCaffrey, McCaffrey changes things still. Jets at the Steelers. The Jets are favored, Jack.
I know.
On Sunday Night Football in your building.
So I actually do not believe that the Steelers will lose back-to-back Sunday night home football games. I don't believe Devontae Adams makes the Jets much better. I said it. I'm going Pittsburgh. Towels flying. Watt gets to Rodgers a couple times. I'm going the Steelers. As a home dog in the Steel City.
Ziggy?
I think that I think that Devontae Adams makes the Jets a little bit better. I think that Russell Wilson makes the Steelers a little bit worse. And we saw, for a brief flash, a couple flashes of vintage Aaron Rodgers, even though it wasn't quite enough to get it done. I think Aaron Rodgers is finally feeling it a little bit. I think he's in his groove. I think Devontae, who looks like he's going to play this week, is only going to make that better. I'll take the Jets. I'll fall into the trap.
Now, JPJ is going to lock up.
Yeah, I don't like picking against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Weird things happen in that building consistently. But I'm going to go with the Jets, too, in this one. I think people forget how good Devontae Adams is.
He stinks.
People forget. Everyone was in our comment section like a week or two ago saying top 5 receiver. Like, you think he's a top 5 receiver? And there are a lot of good receivers.
He's not
in the
even
NFL.
top 20.
Devontae Adams is a freak.
Now, JPJ is going to lock him up.
And he's back with his boy. I got the Jets winning this. The Ravens
but that's
at
the thing
Bucs.
is, like, I would say even if, this is the nice thing about Devontae Adams, even if he gets completely locked up, that just means Garrett Wilson can run wild.
It changes things for Wilson 100%.
Now, Deshaun Elliott's going to lock him up.
Ravens at Bucs. Ravens are 3.5-point favorites.
The Ravens they're a favorite in Tampa. I'm going to go Tampa. I'm going to go with the Bucs.
Who are you really going with?
I'm going with the Bucs. I actually love this Bucs team.
They're
Like,
fun.
what did they put up? Their highest, their highest
51,
their highest number of yards in franchise history last week.
Yeah, Baker's slinging it.
51 points. I like the Bucs. They're going to stop the Ravens' run.
Ziggy's squawking.
They're going to stop the Ravens' run, take a lead. Baltimore can't run anymore. They got to throw, and Lamar will get picked off. I like the Bucs.
Yeah, the flock's not losing this. Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, this is Baltimore.
So I lone wolf the Steelers, the Niners, and the Bucs.
Yeah, three in a row here.
So I just essentially won this week's bet.
Chargers at Cardinals. Chargers are 2.5-point favorites in Arizona of the second Monday Night Football game.
This massive win last week for the Chargers against my Broncos on the road really opened my eyes about this team. I believe they found it, so I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Yeah, I think this Cardinals team is not bad, but I think they're substantially worse than this Chargers team. So I am going to take the Chargers, even though I think it's possible the Cardinals win, and that if they do, everyone will get a little bit excited about them. The Chargers are just substantially better.
It is certainly possible that the Cardinals can win this game. Yeah, I acknowledge that. But I think the Chargers are just a tougher football team. The Harbaugh effect is starting to shine through a little bit. And I think the Chargers, this would be a big win, too, to get to 4-3, positive record. And they're looking like a playoff team right now. Maybe not a team that's going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs, but a playoff team. And once you get into, January football, running the football, toughness, that's what matters. So I think Chargers are in a good spot. It's happening quicker. All right, we'll wrap up today's show, the Week 7 preview, with the Jack Cap of the Week.
I'll tell you right now, it's the Fordham Rams.
Who's Fordham playing?
I don't know, but I didn't really have any signs. I'm just wearing the Fordham shirt. So whoever they're playing and what the spread is, I'd take Fordham.
They're on bye.
Oh, well, I guess they're not.
I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, I guess they're not going to lose then.
Can't lose, yeah.
No, I'm showing.
Actually, I am kidding. I'm not kidding. They are in fact on bye.
No, they're not going to lose.
They're coming off a brutal loss to Holy Cross, though. They're 0-7.
Yes, they're due.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's 5 in a row. Bucket. No, I'm showing some support for my sister. She's a Fordham Ram. I'm going for 5 in a row now, right?
5 in a row.
Yeah. 5 wins in a row. I guaranteed the fans I will not lose again. And I'm holding true to that.
Not a guarantee.
So anyway, guys, this weekend is my birthday weekend. Happy 26th to me.
Oh, yeah. The day that this comes out is actually Jack's birthday. So happy birthday, Jack.
When this comes out, it is my birthday. It's my birthday weekend.
Wait, if you've made it this far, wish Jack a happy birthday in the comments.
Yes, please. Thank you. I appreciate it. So birthday weekend, turning 26, looking forward to celebrating. And it also just so happens to be, I share a birthday with some unique people. Zac Efron's one of them. I mean, how great is that? You know who another one is, Ziggy, who I share a birthday with? Taylon Green, the quarterback for the University of Arkansas. October 18th. His birthday weekend, my birthday weekend. Arkansas is a home dog at night. Plus 105. I don't want the points. I want Arkansas outright on the money line in Fayetteville. Give me those Razorbacks to celebrate our birthdays. Woo! Pig Suey. Give me Arkansas. Plus 105 on the money line to beat LSU in the Battle of the Golden Boot. Give me those Hogs down in Fayetteville.
Ooh, pig.
All right. Yeah, that's
Woo! Pig Suey.
a birthday cap. It can't lose a birthday cap.
No.
Right? Yeah, that'd be...
Especially when it's the quarterback's birthday, too. He'll win the game. He'll go out celebrating, partying. Who does Arkansas play the following week? They're going to get killed the following week. They'll beat LSU. I got the Razorbacks. Brian Kelly in prime time on the road at night in the SEC.
This could be...
Give me Arkansas.
Something. Yeah. Zac Efron, Arkansas quarterback, Jack. I like it, Jack.
It's the birthday
I mean,
cap.
I don't veer off the cap. Every single week, I see what you can see. Like it's awesome.
I'm a natural born winner.
Other than weeks 1 and 2, yeah.
Yeah, so other than weeks 1.
I think this might be the worst cap of all time.
But that's how I like it, though.
Ziggy, well, it's always best when Ziggy says it's horrible. I'm like,
Yes.
But this week, I'm with you. And last week, I was kind of anti the whole Penn State USC. I was a little worried, but that was a winner.
They found a way to pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, why do I doubt? Why? It doesn't make sense.
I don't know what people do.
No, it's crazy. All right, so there you go. The cap of the week: Arkansas over LSU. And yeah, I'm not picking Brian Kelly after what he did to Ziggy and I's school.
He's a bum.
Horrible. We appreciate everyone who checked out this episode, who made it all the way through. If you made it all the way through, let us know. That's awesome. Shocking, but awesome. We game picks, Zig or Zag, power rankings. Let us know your power rankings in the comments. If you do have your top 10 teams, it's harder than it looks, guys. It's harder than it not really. It's fun. And we'll see what happens post week 7. A lot of big games, like we said. I mean, guys, come on. Look at the schedule real quick before we go here. Just these games: Houston at Green Bay. I think Seattle, Atlanta is awesome. Detroit, Minnesota. It's like a little bit of scrolling. Chiefs, Niners, Ravens, Bucs. Like a lot of good football games. So we'll be reacting to them this week. We'll see you soon.